Cause I'm crew. The crew call, yeah, yeah. Oh. Sorry. No more of that.
The crew call. What's up?
Sorry, I like to try to welcome you guys with some energy. So, when you're clicking on it, you're like, oh, energy. And you click on it, and then you just see us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just start yelling.
And then you get excited inside because you feel like, yes, I have energy too.
Exactly. So, welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop hitting the table before the camera falls over.
Oh,
if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check us out. Come join the crew. Welcome to the humble abode.
The humble abode.
The humblest, where you come check us out every day, every week. And, okay, so, yeah, about this one.
Yeah.
Bill Burr, emotional. Something tells me this isn't funny.
I don't think this is going to be funny either, but it's a different side of Bill Burr. So we've heard.
Maybe one we have never seen before. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for recommending this one. I hope there's a lighter side to this all.
I hope so.
All right, this is my story. I was dating this girl like 2 years ago. I've been dating her for like 8 months, and she wanted to meet my parents. She was really giving me shit, like, how come I haven't met your parents? Aww. And, I never brought anybody home to meet my parents. I was like 30 years old. Never brought anybody home. I didn't ever like meeting people in general. Like, I didn't want to meet her parents. I always hated when you had to meet, go out with somebody, you got to, meet their friends and shit. Sitting at the table, trying to be interesting. I usually end up just sitting there staring at, mashed potatoes or some shit. So she's like, how come, what's wrong with you? How come you don't want to meet me, bring you home to meet your parents? I started thinking about it. Not only had I never brought anybody home, a girl home, and I was 30 years old, I'd never brought anybody home. Even back in first grade, second grade, I had friends and shit, I just never brought them home. So I started thinking, how the hell did that start? As we're basically driving up from New York to go to my house to finally meet my parents. And I remember I think it was when I was first grade, we used to have a bus stop, and it was right out in front of my house. So my parents used to always be arguing. And my dad was like a maniac, always screaming, "God damn fucking bitch." Just total psycho. My dad was a complete psychopath, his nickname in my house was called The Thing. Because that's what he was. He was his fucking thing. That if he wasn't around, we'd say, "Dude, is The Thing home?" If he wasn't home, you could chill. He was just never in a good mood. So one day I'm down at the bus stop. There's 10 other kids down there and shit. We're all in first grade, second grade, third grade, waiting for the bus. And it's towards the summertime, so my parents got the windows open and shit. So I can start to hear an argument starting, well, what the fuck do you mean you didn't know? And I'm sitting there going, please let the bus come, please, for Christ's sake. And all of a sudden, you goddamn fucking bitches, screaming and shit. And I remember just looking at all the other kids' looks on their faces, I guess, this is way before cable, so most kids never even heard curses, so they couldn't believe it. And that's when it really hit me that, man, my family's really, really screwed up. And I started going over other kids' houses, and their parents seemed to get along, and they were cool. And so the whole time I'm driving back, my girlfriend coming up, all this stuff was coming back, and I'm thinking, and I really get all I'm a 6-year-old kid again, getting all nervous, how my dad is gonna act, because it's embarrassing, I remember he was one of these dudes where I don't know, he's just always in a bad mood. If you try to teach you something, he'd say it once, and then when you didn't get it, he'd just say it louder and louder. And I remember 6, just going, this guy he's retarded. I remember we got a dog, and he's trying to teach this dog how to sit. All right, it's a dog. It doesn't speak English, and he's sitting there going, he's going, all right, sit. It's a little puppy. Sit. Sit down. You're gonna get over there, and you're gonna sit down. Dog's sitting there walking around peeing, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? That was his thing, man. Everything in my house, my parents, they were ridiculously strict. They had all these stupid rules. I remember they had this one rule: whatever you didn't eat for dinner, they would just wrap it in cellophane, and you had to eat it the next morning for breakfast. And there's Everybody's sitting eating their like pancakes and waffles. You're like eating like cube steaks and shit. Dad be going, come on, eat it! I don't want to eat it. Eat it! So I'm like driving back, and that's all I'm thinking. It's like, God, this guy's just going to completely embarrass me. And I don't know, like it just felt weird. Like my family was like most families like loving, like build somebody up. Like our family was just all of us just like ripping somebody down. Like I think the worst thing he ever did to me, and this is the one that really kind of made me like the anxious, like worrisome person that I am. I remember it was right around Christmas. I was really thinking this because I was driving this girl up for Christmas. He was giving me shit one day. He always hated when I was joking around. I think making my mother laugh somehow was, I don't know, bug him or whatever. So he kept giving me shit. Come on, man, you keep joking around, giggling all the time. You're acting like a little girl. And I'm thinking, like, because he's always fucking with me. I'm going, oh, God, here's a new angle. You asked him for a football for Christmas. You acting like a little girl. What the fuck's wrong with you? And I'm just sitting there going, Jesus. So, like, 2 weeks later, it's Christmas time. I got, like, 4 brothers, right? And we always sneak down to go look at the presents. So we go downstairs, right? There's all these gifts down there all wrapped. And we're all looking to see who got what, There's all these little tags, to Ed from Santa. Be like, to Bob from Mom and Dad or whatever. And I'm sitting there. Just wait a second.
Wow.
So I look, in like the middle of the tree, I see there's a doll. And I'm thinking, I got 4 brothers. What the fuck is there a doll sitting here? And I remember just looking at this thing. You ever see like those Spike Lee movies where like the background moves and the character doesn't? You just like, it's like one of those deals. And I look up at this doll, right? And it says, to Bill from Santa. And I'm like, what the fuck? Guy got me a goddamn doll. He came downstairs and he's laughing and shit. He's making me take a picture. I'm like 6 years old and crying and stuff. And I'm thinking of this shit as I'm pulling into the driveway. I'm like freaking out because I'm finally gonna bring somebody home to meet this fucking maniac. And I'm telling her, I don't know how this guy's gonna be or whatever. So we walk into the house. It's like candles and shit, Christmas tree. It's all real nice, dim lights and stuff. She comes in, she meets my dad, and the dude is like totally normal. After me building this guy up the whole ride back, he's like fucking like, that dude from Leave It to Beaver. He's like the nicest guy ever. He's all cordial. And I remember I'm just getting like pissed at the guy. Going, why isn't he being a dick? And she's sitting there like taking me aside going, he's the greatest guy. And I can't believe he's saying all that stuff. He's smart, he's intelligent, he's so interested in what I have to say. I remember I was so pissed at the guy. I mean, I really hated him when I was growing up. To the point I remember one time, he went out the driveway and he's running out to his car and he slipped and fell and broke his shoulder. And at that point, me and my brother so fucking hated this guy. When he came to the house, my mother's like taking care of him. We snuck out the back door to look at his footprints in the snow to see where he slipped and fell. And I'm telling you, we were laughing our asses off at this guy. Yeah, right there, that's right. Where
That's so messed up.
fuck, why couldn't I have seen that? So he ended up being like the sweetest guy ever, and there was nothing anxious about it. I like worried about it for like, I don't know, from the beginning of the time, dating girls like 15, and I just ended up feeling really stupid. And I was kind of pissed. I was just looking at the guy going, why the fuck couldn't he have been like this, 20 years ago when I needed him to be like that? Rather than, being the way he was. But, I always want to talk to him about it, but we don't communicate, so I guess it is what it is. And that's my story. Thanks.
Well then.
Wow. Yeah, that must have been like a poetry or open mic night because he saw a guy with a guitar.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I was wondering, was he gonna start playing some, sad music? Or
Yeah, I
something?
thought the music was gonna come in too.
Yeah, I was confused. I was like, "This guy with a guitar." Well then,
What?
I don't know what to say about that one. That one was kind of sad a little bit. Yeah.
I like that, and I guess this is probably why he's such a successful comedian, but I like that he was able to still find humor in the story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I
I think...
people were still laughing about something.
Yeah, and he was able to make a couple jokes here and there. I think that's what makes a good comedian, and it's usually the best comedians that have stories that are like, you wouldn't believe it. It's like, wow,
Right.
you're such a funny person. You're always goofing off. You wouldn't believe that they hated their real lives.
Yeah, that they came from something like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists go through that. A lot of actors, a lot of things like that. They
Yeah.
pull from their personal experiences to be able to come across on camera as more believable.
Yeah,
or
and it's an
whatever
escape,
like
you
that.
know?
It's an escape, something completely different. That was
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Good Time Crew. I had a feeling it was like Burger's emotional. I was like, maybe this one isn't funny.
Yeah.
But I guess it doesn't always have to be funny.
I mean, it was interesting to hear him like that, though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think
Tim
it
Burr.
shapes a lot of what he says. Like
Yeah.
a lot of in his stand-ups, you know?
I thought what was going to happen was I thought there was going to be like a happy ending to the story. Like he said,
It kinda was.
his dad, taking pictures of me with the doll, and he said, I'm just kidding, give me that. Hey, I know you're upset. Here's your G.I. Joe or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like there was a good ending to that part.
Not to that part, no.
Kind of like there was a doll, and
Yeah, there's probably parts of that story that we probably would rather not hear.
probably so.
Because there's always more. I mean, I imagine it didn't end there with him crying.
Yeah. Well,
But, I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe better late than never. He's like talking about this guy being nice when his girlfriend came home. I don't know.
anyway, I don't want to talk about any more negative stuff.
I
Good
was
Time
gonna
Crew.
say, this,
Let's
like-
get into our question of the day. And it is, what has been your favorite Bill Burr bit so far?
Oh my gosh.
There's so many of
There's
them.
so many.
Which one has been your favorite? I know right off the top I'm going to have to say mine's been Helicopter Story.
Where's the helicopter story?
Hey, dude,
Okay.
put your seatbelt back on.
I feel like mine is probably the Some People Need Lotion.
That one was pretty funny.
I think that one is my favorite because of the time we saw it. We were just getting into Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was like, oh, this guy gets it.
He was like, they help each other out,
Yeah.
and they not help each other out.
no.
Then you get laughed at for being ashy.
I know.
But yeah.
That helicopter bit was funny, though.
Yeah,
It says it was like a real...
He did put your seatbelt back on.
Don't touch that, don't touch that.
What
No, Bill Burr. But yeah, what's your
Oh.
favorite in the comments? What's your favorite Bill Burr bit?
Let us know. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like
Yes.
this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.